What's going on, man? It's Vanishing Stampede here to talk about Gokukoku no Brynhildr episode 13. And after watching this episode, I know for a damn fact that I gotta read the manga because that shit kind of let me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if that is how the fight was between the Valkyrie and Kuroha, I'm pretty sure that the lead up to it was developed and handled a lot more, you know what I'm saying, than just what just happened right now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm watching this shit and I'm just like, okay. But anyway, the episode starts off and they in front of Ichijuku's cabin, house, summer home thing or whatever. And like as they were like, it was like the people who brought them there in the helicopter, that woman who wears the nun outfit and that kid who can cancel out the witch's powers, they like, well, the shit already been activated, so there's no point in going, and so they don't go. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. But Murakami and Kuroha and Kazumi, they go, and I'm just like, okay. And as they were running, Kazumi looks at Kuroha, and she's like, you know, Neko, and they look at each other. I'm like, okay, I can already tell they're gonna knock him out. I can already tell they're gonna knock him out. And guess what happens? They knock him the fuck out with some trees. You know what I'm saying? With some branches and trees. I'm like, okay. I already saw that happen, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even gonna sit up here and like, I think last week I put in a video like how I was right about certain shit, and I was right about everything in this episode. You know what I'm saying? But because of to me, the slight, I guess I'm gonna say I overhyped it in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like I overhyped it so much so that the ending of it was just kind of like so average that it feels bad to me. The episode wasn't bad, okay? It just feels bad, you know what I'm saying, because I overhyped it, because I thought it was going to be like a lot more intense than what it was, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much after that though, for the most part, let me just go ahead and just say this shit though, because it's not going to be a long review like the last one was. Everybody, for the most part, in this episode kind of got killed. I'm going to say loosely. Everyone sort of died. I'm gonna say loosely, except for like Kuroha and Murakami. So the Murakami's died before, so let's just go ahead and put it that way. Kazumi gets cut. Oh, sorry. Kazumi gets cut in half. Kazumi gets cut in half, and I was just like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, because like when she knocked out Murakami, I was like, why are you even going? Like, can't she do anything other than hack shit? So I'm like, why are you doing? But, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, I don't know, man. I just kind of felt conflicted in a way about this episode because I thought it was handled. It's funny, man, because I see people all the time say like shit be rushed, and this episode seemed rushed. The series didn't, but this episode seemed like, okay, we gotta get it, go, do it. I felt like if they were gonna have a last episode, then they could have made this last episode 50 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they just won't do that. Just make the last episode longer than the other episodes in the series. You know what I'm saying? Like, this episode should have been 50 minutes just to build up enough of the plot and all that type of shit. Because it's like, I was right about the Valkyrie being Kuroha's sister. Well, that's something I would have had liked to see. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, me and you were just like night and day. Well, a little flashback showing how they like night and day would have always, you know, that would have been helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, just showing, you know, a little backdrop about their history together would have been nice, you know, and all that type of stuff. So I was just like, I would have had like, they had seen that, you know. And then Kazumi, what I said about her was true. She wanted to have a kid with Murakami. I would like to have had her say why. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just kind of like not something that women just, you know what I'm saying, just automatically just do. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a girl that's like, ooh, that dude right here, he's a guy and he's here. Let me fuck him and just have a kid with him. So I was like, I would have liked to have a reason as to why. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like she just kind of wanted to bang him and have a kid with him, and then she fell in love. Because that's how she even says it in her dying breath. She's like, I really wanted to have his kids, but at least I fell in love. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, she wanted to have a kid with him first, and then she fell in love. So the kid thing was first, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why does she want to have a kid? And the only thing I can think of is that because she's a witch and, you know, she don't have the pill, she can die. She wanted to have a kid just to have somebody to leave behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she were to die, you know what I'm saying, prematurely because she don't have the pills. So I'm just kind of like, okay. But if that had been explained in the episode, that would have made her death, you know what I'm saying, sadder, you know. And Kotori, or Kotori, however you want to pronounce it, she ejects the harness from her neck. Now, I went ahead last week and I was like reading through a comment last week, and somebody said, yeah, you should definitely read the manga, because the manga has so much more that's going on for it, and blah blah blah. And last week I also said that I thought that Murakami would have been the one to kill her, you know what I'm saying, but apparently that didn't happen, you know what I'm saying. She killed herself. So I just felt like once she found out that information about herself, she could have did it from the get-go, you know what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't even any need to like delay her suicide, you know what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm just kind of like, it's weird to me, because she could have pushed that button as soon as she found out that she was the target, you know what I'm saying, that she had this power, that she was 1107. She could have been like, oh, okay, I don't want that to happen. She could have pushed the button, you know what I'm saying. So I was just kind of like, I wondered if this particular scene, her death, was done differently in the manga. So that's why I'm like, I definitely got to read it, because I'm pretty sure it was handled much differently than it was in this episode, because I feel the right way that this should have happened was that Kotori, it still should have activated or whatever, but it should have activated enough to where, like, the harness couldn't even, you know what I'm saying, like, her body, she shouldn't have been able to move her body. If that drazzle was coming out of her body, I would have liked for her to not even been able to move, you know what I'm saying. Like, she just stuck there, that thing is activating, it's outside of her body, and then Murakami would have come in and saw that, you know what I'm saying. Like, he would have come in and saw that, because at that point in time, with it activating, I felt like it was nothing that Chisato can do, you know what I'm saying, Ichijuko, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing that he can do, and so he was going to have the Valkyrie kill her, and then that's when Neko would have came in and did all that type of stuff, and they would have did whatever they did to keep both of them away from her, and then that's when she would have been talking to Murakami, and she would have said out loud about her remembering that Chisato was her brother, and he would have looked like, holy shit, she remembers. But then she would have been like, I don't want this to happen, so please, Murakami, you have to stop this from happening. And then he was like, what do you mean? And then she's like, you know what I mean, you have to stop this from happening, please, just protect everybody. And he would have pushed the button. That's what I would have thought would have happened, you know what I'm saying, but that didn't happen. So I was like, I wonder if this is different in the manga. If not, I'm pretty sure the build up to it was better, you know what I'm saying, but it's just kind of like a whatever situation for the most part, so you just kind of never know. And then Kana has Hatsune push the top button on her thing, and now she can move, but I'm assuming that she can move at like a super high speed, or at least either she can move at a super high speed or she can teleport or some shit like that, because you gotta realize she was at the observatory, and wherever that was, where they were at in Ichijuku's place, where everyone else was, they took a fucking helicopter there. So she got there like pretty quick, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, whatever power she has now, it must have something to do with like instantaneous speed, you know what I'm saying? That's all I can think of, is that she can either teleport, she can run fast as shit, she can become like lightning or something, you know what I'm saying, like light or something, because like I think when they were outside, that's when that the Valkyrie did that little yellow shit to kind of stop them from pulsating or whatever. Like, maybe she can become pulsating wave, and that's how she was able to just jump there, because a pulsating wave was happening. But either way, to me, I feel like it got something to do with her being able to move at a high speed. That's the only thing that I could think of anyway, you know, as far as that is concerned. But like I said, I liked this episode, but I just felt like it was so rushed and all that type of stuff, man. I liked it. It was rushed. And the one problem that I did have with this episode, I was just like, oh my god, like, this is how my brain works. In an episode where humans are blowing shit up Humans can see into the future. Humans can regenerate after being sliced in half. Humans can change people's memories and all that type of stuff. Human beings can do all these unbelievable, imaginable things. The one problem that I had in this whole entire episode was that Chisato was shot at least 100 times. None of the bullets went through his body as he was protecting the Valkyrie. None of them. None of them went through his body. He was shot like 100 times with an assault rifle, with machine gun assault rifles. None of the bullets went through his body. And if that weren't bad enough, he lived long enough to talk to the Valkyrie and then die. So not only was he shot, not only did the bullets not pass through him, ultimately hitting her, but he lived for a bit and then died. I was like, if that isn't a piece of WTF cinema, I have no idea what WTF cinema is. I was like, what the... As that happened, I was like, when that woman, the woman who wears the nun outfit, she was like, hurry up, you gotta kill the Valkyrie. I was like, wait, those bullets aren't passing through him? And then they show it as he collapses down, you look in the front of him, nothing. I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That is crazy. That made no sense to me. I was like, why would they do that? Are they serious? Why would you do that? That makes little sense to me. You know, but... You done, man? You done? But, Chisato dies, and the Valkyrie loses her mind because he dies. Because the Valkyrie dies, because Chisato dies, the Valkyrie loses her mind. And she's like, a world without him in it, there's no world I want to be in, I might as well destroy it. So she uses her antimatter powers. And at this point, because Kuroneko had pushed a button, regained her memories and all that type of stuff, she was able to use her power to cancel out the Valkyrie power. But before she went and did that, she kissed Murakami, calling him Ryota, because she didn't know who he was. She kisses him, and she's like, I've always wanted to do that. I wanted to do that since I was a little girl. I loved you since then, and I'll always love you. So I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever, And she goes up there, and she uses this black hole technique. I don't know within the realm of science how that would work, because she used an antimatter, and a black hole, for all intents and purposes, is still made of matter. So it should have just been another annihilation, but just in the sky, right? But the force would have been an implosion instead of an explosion, I'm assuming. But you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the Valkyrie is defeated, and Kuroneko comes back down. And Ryota asks her if she's okay, and she's like, I'm okay, but can I ask you a question? He's like, sure. And then she's like, who are you? And I was just like, yeah, I expected that. And she used a great deal of power, and she probably doesn't know who he is. Now, I don't know if she has a permanent form of amnesia or something like that, because after the credits roll, she remembered various constellations in the sky, so I'm like, she might not have a total form of amnesia or memory loss, but it's enough. And that's how the episode ends, with them looking into a telescope, looking up in the sky, and they all camping and stuff. But Katori isn't there, so. And Kanna's still in a wheelchair for some odd reason, but she clearly was moving, so I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I just thought that was a weird end, man, because more has to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I always feel weird when an anime based on a manga ends, because if the manga's still going on or whatever, they say bye, Kato. Say bye. If a manga is based on an anime, they always, if an anime is based on a manga, I'm sorry, they always have to like come up with their own ending unless the manga has ended. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what they did here, because I'm pretty sure that the manga one is still going on. But even if this fight between the Valkyrie and Kuroneko has happened. I'm pretty sure one, it probably didn't happen exactly like that, and two, it damn sure didn't end like that. Like, I know that for a fact that it probably didn't end like that. So I gotta read the manga. And again, it's not that I'm saying this episode was bad. I'm just saying that one, I hyped it up so much, like too much, that this episode, you know what I'm saying, ended up being average. And in its, you know what I'm saying, like mediocrity, it let me down. You know what I'm saying? But that just should be fine because most anime endings are terrible. And this one was perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But it just, the mediocrity of it just kind of let me down. You know what I'm saying? Two, as a guy who usually reads manga first, I hadn't even heard of this one. I should have read the manga like right after Kodori's character was introduced. That's when I should have started reading it. I should have started reading it right then and there and just kind of had the side by side of the anime, manga, anime, manga, anime, manga. That's what I should have did, but I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna read this manga after the anime ends. But because of the way this anime ended, I was like, I'm gonna have to go back and read the manga in its entirety because it seems like they skipped or they made up a lot of stuff as the ending was going on. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I got the confirmation from someone in the comment last week. They was like, yeah, the anime skips a lot. The manga has more. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to read that. So, you know, I was just like, it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because out of all the anime endings I've seen, like, you know, this year, you know, this one and Golden Time were probably, you know, the better ones. We haven't gotten the end for Black Bullet yet. I think that's next week or tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. I think it's next week or something like that. Yeah, man. Like, I don't even know if the Irregular at Magic High School has ended yet. I don't know, but so far though, Gokukoku no Brynhildr and Golden Time for me have been like two of the better endings for anime this season. And, you know, I should be happier, but I guess I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really too, you know what I'm saying, super duper pleased with this ending. It was kind of just like, man, you know what I'm saying, to me. Kazumi is my favorite character, and she was in the end alive. So as long as she's alive, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? If she dies in the manga, I'm gonna be, you know, distraught. But as long as she's alive, I'm good. So let me know what you thought about this ending, though, man. Just like, and be honest with me. Let me know what you really thought about the way that this ending was handled in the anime. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you thought. 'Cause I thought it was too much padding. I thought the pacing was horrible. I just thought it was too much padding, and the pacing was like bad. Let me know what you thought about it, though, man. Let me know if you're going to continue the series, you know what I'm saying, with the manga, if you're going to read the manga adaptation. Let me know if you have any recommendations, you know what I'm saying, for any anime/manga that are out there. Akame ga Kiru comes out, so that's going to take up most of my time. This is going to be awesome, you know what I'm saying? So, can't wait for that to come out, though. Huge fan, you know what I'm saying? Can't wait for that to come out, man. Nash Stampede, signing out.